Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone all across the world. Welcome to Cricket Beyond Boundaries. This is our second video for our channel. And at the outset, let me just thank everyone who subscribed to our channel. It's, I think, about 20, 21 subscribers for now, which is something which even we did not expect. We were expecting that probably expecting one or two subscribers. That will probably be the two of us, and I think over 100 views as well. So it's really something that we appreciate. Thank you so much to everybody for your views, for your subscriptions, and also there are about two people, Gaurang Konde and Moktik Kulkarni, for your comments. Really appreciate it, and thank you so much. Today, we'll be doing our review for the match, or the match analysis for the India versus Pakistan game, the same game for which we had done a preview. Um, so we've got Sagar as well from Paris. Hello, Sagar.
Hello, Tanuj. Nice to be
Looking
back.
nice. Looking nice.
Thank you so much. You too.
Yep. So what was your what was we did so much of a review and such a big hype, not just us, I'm sure the entire world. I think the viewership was around 1.3 billion people around the world which were watching the game.
As
That's more
always.
than 1/7 of the world that was watching the game, and the game didn't turn out to be that great. I mean, from a cricketing point of view, not from a Indian fan per se, but from a cricketing point of view, what did you think of it as a game?
To be honest, it was very anticlimactic because India and Pakistan clash is always expected to be a battle of changing momentum, but this time it was a one-way battle. And before starting, let me tell you, I was a bit skeptical for criticizing Pakistan, but after seeing all the video posted by Pakistani people themselves, उनको तो अपनों ने लूटा गैरों में क्या दम था, so I'm gonna be really critical and really harsh about them. But to be honest, they didn't really give anything from the start. What do you think about the toss? Do you think it was a good toss to lose?
Yeah, starting with the toss. Actually, I was watching the game, and the moment I saw, because we discussed it. Remember, in the preview, we discussed that the toss is something that's going to be very crucial. If Pakistan win, we thought, and I mean, only to be proven wrong, that we thought that Pakistan is going to jump on the fact that we're going to bat first, big game against India, runs on the board in big games. That's the Australian theory always. Ricky Ponting had once famously said that we always love on big days, big games, we always like to bat first, put runs on the board, because it's like runs on the board in big games makes a huge difference, because even if you get a small score, but at least you have something on the board to defend, because chasing in a big game, there's always that extra added pressure. It was surprising that, in fact, I mean, there's so much of criticism for Sarfaraz as a captain. I'd like to know your take on that. But let's not forget one thing. Pakistan won the toss, elected to bat first, and Virat Kohli was asked the same thing. What would you have done? And he said the same thing. He said we would have batted a bowled first as well on that strip. So maybe they all thought that the wicket had something which perhaps was just the early bit of moisture in the wicket, which went away pretty quickly, because even the new ball, I think it didn't swing for more than 5 or 10 overs. So, what's your take on the fact that Virat Kohli too wanted to bowl first on that pitch?
Yeah, I agree. He said that, but the point is, when you are thinking of defending a total or chasing a total, rather, I'm sorry, then you have to plan your team strategy accordingly. If you will see that they asked to ball first, but they were playing with five bowlers. That means they were going out with a strong bowling attack. They should have chased, they should have posted a total and then try to defend. But from Virat Kohli point of view, we will see, if barring the injury of Bhuvneshwar Kumar, India were playing effectively with six bowlers. So I guess that was also a plan, that okay, we will win the toss, ball first. We have six bowler, bowl them out, and then chase, and we have Virat Kohli. So why not? But
Hmm.
Sachin Tendulkar said that it was a blessing in disguise,
Yep.
and there
Yep.
were many instances in this match where something turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I'm running forward right now, but still, if you remember, Wahab Riaz was walking on the pitch, and he was giving a second warning, so he
Yep.
had no chance, but he had to come around the wicket. And
Yep.
second ball,
You
he got
got
the wicket
you
of
out.
Rahul.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
I
talking.
would still think that India playing with six bowlers, that's why he wanted to bowl first. And there was something, and Sarfaraz said that after the match, that they are execution was really, really
Very
poor.
bad. Yeah,
They
yeah,
were bowling short to Rohit Sharma.
yeah.
To Sharma, I'm Sharma, my man Rohit. He will hit you out of the ground, and that's what
Absolutely.
he did.
Absolutely. And very rightly said. I think when you win I was hearing Michael Clark on commentary, and he was saying this quite a few times that when you win the toss and bowl first, you have to bowl better than what the Pakistani bowlers did. What do you think it could be? Because I mean, if there were helpful conditions, I'm sure it was only, and as it turned out, it was only for the first 5 or 10 overs when they were like really helpful conditions. In a one-day game, I know the white kookaburra does not swing as much as the red cherry, but I mean, even then, I think the lengths that they bowled were not really up to the mark. I think they were either too short or too full. Like you rightly said, you bowled short to Rohit Sharma. I mean, it's a no contest really. But they didn't really bring the Indian batsmen forward. I would say the lengths were not really up there. Having said that, I think you have to give credit to the way India played as well. I think when I was watching the game, I was trying to watch it with a very unbiased way, because I'm sure we have to do these videos, and that's the motto of Cricket Beyond Boundaries. We we support good cricket. We like to have an opinion about good cricket, not just about Indian cricket and the whims and fancy. So I think we have to give credit to the fact that I just love the way our two openers went about. Yes, I know Virat Kohli came and got runs, and towards the end, Vijay Shankar also had a late flourish. But I just love the opening foundation that was set by KL Rahul playing his first game as with Rohit Sharma as opener in a big pressure cooker kind of a World Cup game. And I think I just love the way, and not just the fact that they hit a lot of boundaries and scored heavily in boundaries, but just the way they used to rotate the strike. I mean, that was just beautiful to watch. I mean, I would love to see that innings over and over again. And I think if there's any lesson, because I mean, after the match, I think Rohit Sharma was asked by one of the Pakistani journalists that what would you advise our Pakistani batsmen? And I think he said something which I don't recollect. But I think if they have to see something, that just look at the way they were rotating on a slightly helpful pitch. They were hitting. They were just rotating the strike of good deliveries, and they were just putting the bad balls away. I think if you have to sum up good batsmanship, I think that pretty much defines it. And the way they set up the foundation, I think Pakistan were. I think the game was over in the first 20 overs when they put on 100 odd runs. I don't remember the exact score, but I think when they put on 100 and the sun came out, you just knew that Pakistan are going to be really under pressure from now. And I mean, credit to India, they didn't give, the moment they lost the toss and they came into bat, they didn't give not a single chance to Pakistan, not even a foot in the door. It's almost like they said, "This is our game. This is our game plan. We will execute it to perfection," and execute they did. I think hats off to the way India played. I mean, we've grown up watching Indian cricket, and sometimes we've seen them struggle in ICC tournaments against big teams on big days. There was a time in Indian cricket about 18, 20 years ago where they just didn't know how to win finals. And here they are in big games. The crowd is with them, such a pressure game, and they just outclass the open. I would like to know your opinion on this. The level of cricket that India are playing at the moment compared to the rest of the other teams, I think there's a fair bit of difference. I think India is just playing on a different level. Yes, they're top heavy; they rely heavily on the top three, but still, just the whole feel. What do you make of that?
I guess out of all the teams which are playing this World Cup, India are the real professional. The way they carry themselves, they walk like champions. They are really fit. They have textbook finishing, textbook opening. They have everything. If you just making on the point which you made, that India, the way they started, they knew that Mohammad Shami is the class of the game. He's the class of the game. They respected him. They only scored about 40 runs to Mohammad Ami, and
Mm.
still he got 3 wickets. And India knew that this guy is in form, so let's play him out. They respected him.
Yep.
And again, coming back to like what we discussed preview in our preview video, that's all about mind. When your two premier bowler Wahab Riaz and Mohammad Ami got 2 warnings within 20 overs, that doesn't look good, because now not only you want to deliver on the line and length, swing, speed, but now you also have to think where your
Yeah.
foot is land after the bowling. It was not good.
Yeah.
To summarize it, I can say Sarfaraz won the toss, elected to ball first, and that was the only thing Pakistan won that day. India is really, really looking good, and the way they played it, they prove it that they are one of the favorites. And Nasir Hussain, while towards the end of Pakistan inning, he said that the word mercurial has been used to define Pakistan for a long time, but he said, let's stop using that word. Pakistan is really consistent and they are consistently bad. And that's what it is. That's how it was. What do you think? Not only the partnership between Lokesh Rahul and Rohit Sharma,
Mm.
even if you think the best part, if you would have observed it, the way India batsmen played, there was not even a single LBW shout,
Jesus.
not even not
That,
even a chance for review. Can you think about it?
no.
You're
I,
playing in a pressure cooker situation where your bowlers are struggling, and of course India have equal amount of pressure.
yep.
On added to this, India are favorites, so
Mhm.
they have more pressure. But the way, the calmness they were playing with, oh my
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's a very good point. Something that you pointed out. Not a single LBW shot in 50 overs on a track where you actually elected to bowl first, trying to bowl the opposition out cheaply. I think I mean, it will be unfair if we don't have a word on Rohit Sharma, your namesake.
God, man.
Absolutely, yeah, man. I think unbelievable. For someone who began his career in 2007, has gone through various ups and downs. There was a period when he his form was frustrating Indian fans because you could see the amount of talent, the sheer amount of talent that he has, just the amount of time he has to play fast bowling. It's a sign of a really gifted, a very class player. To see him getting 100 on a big stage, I think it was just amazing. He didn't look unfazed for a minute, for a single over or a single delivery. He didn't look like, oh, I don't know what to do. They just had plans for everything. As little as a new bowler Hafiz comes in, first ball he comes down the track, hits him for a boundary, does not let him settle. It was just a very high quality innings, and I think I mean he's did India's highest run scorer this tournament. What do you make of your man Rohit Sharma and
Come
his
on,
innings?
he's gonna be, I guess, the key player for India. And I remember first March 2003, I was just a kid, and I remember Sachin Tendulkar hitting that six over the third man to
Yep,
Shoaib Akhtar, and he did the same. Rohit Sharma hit the exact same shot to
absolutely,
Hassan Ali,
absolutely.
and the Pakistan used seven bowlers within 23 overs. And the way Rohit Sharma was playing, even Pakistani bowlers conceded that, okay, this guy is going to score 200. There's no stopping him. That's why he was frustrated when
Then,
he didn't see that fine leg was inside the circle.
mhm.
It was the way he scores. And the best part, what Rohit Sharma does better than everyone, including Rohit Sharma, is the way he paces his inning. He
Absolutely,
doesn't get unfit. Even if he's playing with 20 strike rate, he knows he can
he
catch up
can
and
cover
catch
up.
up
Yeah,
is done.
yeah.
Oh my God, three double hundred. People doesn't have three double hundred in test. Now, of course, he is in the form
he's
of
he's
his
in
life.
a he's in a league of his own at the moment, and I think it helps enormously when you know that Rohit Sharma is in the form that he is, and the likes of Kohli to come, and obviously you've got KL Rahul opening with him. Then you've got Dhoni, you've got Vijay Shankar, you've got Hardik Pandya, you've got Kedar. I think this Indian team really is playing on a different level. The one reason why I want to say, and I know we've just distracted a little bit from the Pakistani bowling, but from the match itself. But I, the way I look at it, you've got Virat Kohli, who's yet to get 100 in this tournament. Not that he's playing, he's not in form. He's very much in form. Is that Rohit Sharma's form has been that he doesn't have to go and make 100. You've still not seen the best of Jasprit Bumrah in this tournament, because I think he's just probably sort of maybe obviously it's his first World Cup. It may just take a few games to just bring out his best. I'm sure his best is very much on its way. I think this Indian team, as an opposition, if you look at this Indian team, you'll be really scared because you play India, you've got the 80 or 90% of the crowd is Indian. So I mean, the match was in Manchester. I felt the match was happening at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai.
Yeah, me too.
The stadium there was a sea of blue in the stadium. So I think this Indian team is going to be very hard to beat. I think India's biggest challenge will be the semi-final because I think they might still handle the pressure of the final. It sounds crazy, but they might still handle the pressure of the final much better, way better than they did in 2003. But I think the semi-final is one game which because you can play, you can be the team of the tournament going into the semi-finals, like historically South Africa or New Zealand have been. But you have one bad day in the semi-finals where you just don't believe in yourself, or some one good innings against you, or one great spell against you, and it's pack your bags. So I think India's biggest chance will be in the semi-finals. They might either, I mean, we're just guessing. It could either be New Zealand or Australia in the semi-finals for them if they get there, which I'm sure they will. But I think that'll be the biggest challenge. Moving ahead, so with the Pakistani batting, and this is something which is of a big concern, I'm sure, to the Pakistani fans as well. Chasing 330, what was the score? 330? 330 or 340, I'm sorry. Something around that. I'm sorry, viewers, we're forgetting the scores.
336, I guess, India scored.
336, yeah. So 337 they were chasing. I mean, can you explain the intent with because I know you're chasing 330. Your batting is not, like you rightly pointed out, playing with only 5 specialist batsmen. You can understand they're going cautious, but when you're chasing 330 and you've got playing a bowling attack like India, what was the intent? Some of the scoring was just not there.
I'm going to tell you what was the intent. The intent was they already conceded defeat. They knew we are not going to chase this thing. And the way the batsmen were batting, even a lot of things have been said about the partnership between Babar and the other guy. I don't want to take his first name because I always mispronounce it. Even in that partnership, they were playing at a horrible strike rate. Their intent was that, okay, I did my thing. I
Absolutely.
scored 40, don't blame me, hey, I did. And even when they were playing, it was a tense moment because, okay, wickets were not falling, but it was you were expecting an impending collapse, which is
Mm,
always happening with Pakistan, and that's what happened.
mm, mm.
Once the
And
wickets start,
yeah,
boom,
sorry.
boom, boom, and especially
Absolutely.
Jijaji falling for first ball. Thank you, Shoaib Malik. But
It's funny. I just read a stat today, was it today or yesterday, about Shoaib Malik, and he's apparently the most experienced all rounder. He's playing this side as the experienced all rounder because he can give you a few overs, fewer than what he used to earlier. But and he can sort of control the lower middle order in a tight run chase or that kind of situation. His average ODI average in England is 11 point something. I don't have the exact numbers. I apologize for that, but his average is in the range of 11. And Stuart Broad, who's not played ODI cricket for a long time, actually has a better average and better strike rate than Shoaib Malik. And there are, I think, James Anderson and Graham Swan. They have an average around 10. So that's not. I mean, I don't. I mean, statistics don't lie over a lot of time. Statistics can be misleading as well, but that's a very horrible average for someone who's been around for almost 15 years now in international cricket. The problem for Pakistan, which I feel, as you rightly said, is they're all playing for themselves. Because you look at some of the batsmen and they have an average. I think Babar Azam has an average of around 50. I think same with Imam and Fakhar Zaman. I think they all have the averages around that. But what's the point of having an average of 50? They're not going to win you matches. Okay, you're going to maintain your average over time. You're going to maintain your spot in the team, but you're not going to win matches. And I think it's horrible to see that a Pakistani team. This is a country which has produced some of the legends of the game, like absolute legends, on some of those dead tracks in Pakistan. It's really, I mean, as a fan of the game, it's really sad to see the sort of decline in Pakistan cricket. We hope that it's not that, because you would want an India Pakistan game where people have spent like two grands for a ticket. The tickets went off in what, 15 minutes or half an hour. 800,000 applications for a stadium which had a capacity of only 24,000, and the game turns out to be a one-sided affair. I mean, look, as Indian fans, we love beating Pakistan, I'm sure, but that's not the kind of game you want on a big stage where, what, like I said in the beginning, 1.3 billion people were watching. I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. This is to all our viewers. The viewership for an India-Pakistan game in a World Cup game, in a World Cup match, is actually more than the FIFA World Cup final. It's, I think, just about 1.2 billion for a FIFA World Cup final, which happens once in 4 years, and an India-Pakistan World Cup game. Uh, even to be compared with FIFA World Cup final for a cricket game is quite a huge thing, because FIFA football obviously has a much bigger market compared to India, compared to cricket. So when you have such a huge audience watching, it's I think it all depends on the captain, how he leads his team. I mean, Sarfaraz has been getting a lot of criticism. I sometimes feel I feel for him it's a little unfair as well, because when you criticize a captain for decisions that you make as a team management, where the coach and the management are, I'm sure it's not his own decision to go out and bowl first. Mickey Arthur is the coach, and I've been researching a lot of Pakistani reviews and videos on and for a long time, and they just aren't happy with Mickey Arthur. As you know, this is the same Mickey Arthur who was sent out of South Africa because things weren't good. He went to Australia in that famous India tour of 2013, where that homework gate incident happened with Shane Watson, Mitchell Johnson, Usman Khwaja, and I think one more player I'm missing. This is the same Mickey Arthur who's now gone to Pakistan. I mean, I cannot think of a coach, and Sagar, if you can tell me, based on your research, if can you think of one coach in any sport, let alone cricket, who's gone to three different countries and has had three poor, sort of controversial results with three different countries? I mean, they say you get one chance in life, you can get a second chance, but three countries, three totally, Australia, South Africa, Pakistan, played three different styles of cricket. All three he's had very controversial stints. I think what do you have to say about that?
He is poor because if you see the pre-match conference, Virat Kohli came out.
Yep.
He was really calm. Every time someone was asking him a question, he was saying that it's just another game. It's just another game. I'm not going to say anything controversial. And then comes Mickey Arthur saying that let's see who's going to be the hero.
Yeah.
Any the poor guys, they are not in momentum, they don't have form, and now you're putting this title of hero, and they're trying to be hero. This is just poor coach. He's a poor coach. There's no.
I think it's just with Pakistan. I think it's just the sort of they find it difficult to handle the pressure against India in a World Cup game, and we would like to see a better contest than this, because it's sad to comment on a game which was so one-sided. It's not fair. All right, moving forward, I think Pakistani batsmen, I'm sure they weren't up to the mark. India's bowlers, I thought, were just as professional, as clinical as there ever was. Everyone were chipped in. I think Kuldeep Yadav coming back to form, I think that's great news for India. That ball to Babar Azam was worth watching, I think. I mean, you mentioned about the ball of the century. Happened at the same ground, 1993. Shane Warne. I mean, Shane Warne is... I mean, Kuldeep Yadav.
This was ball of the world.
I think Kuldeep Yadav has said many times that his idol is Shane Warne, and I think to do it on the same ground, it's something. I think India's bowling is looking all right. I mean, India as a whole, I think they're just looking the complete package. Who knows? This could be the year for India.
A very important point here is, in that condition, the key bowler was Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Absolutely. Because he's the one who can get the swing.
Yep.
And when he went out, a message comes in. They inform Kohli that Kumar is not coming back, and the way he handles, he's like, it's okay, no problem.
Right. Yeah.
India is down with one key bowler in a key contest, and they're calm. Absolutely. That talks about belief.
Yeah, true. They almost remind you of the Australian team of the 2000s and the late 90s. Yeah, when even in pressure situations, they just knew how to win. I think this team, if there's one keynote, I think this team, they know how to win, even in pressure situations, even in tough games. They just know how to get the job done. I think that obviously comes with experience. You can't buy it off anywhere. So I think all in all, when we look at this game, I think India was just way too strong. I've been listening to a lot of Pakistani comments, and they've been saying that their team is not even up to scratch. They say forget club teams. They're not even up to scratch with gully teams. I think that's a bit too harsh, unfair. I think Pakistan are not that bad a side. Only recently they beat England. To beat England in a World Cup game, especially with all the hype around England being the favourites, justifiably so. I think Pakistan's still a good side, but I think they just have to pull their socks up, because I think. What do you think the road ahead is for Pakistan? Because what I can see is they've got a few tough games. They've got South Africa. Right now they're on ninth on the table, just above Afghanistan. I'm sure that's not where they wanted to be. Minus 1.993, or what's that? 1.933 as a net run rate. That's a horrible net run rate to come back from. They've got games against South Africa at London at the Oval. Then they go to Edgbaston on the 26th of June against New Zealand. Then they play Afghanistan 29th of June and Bangladesh as the last game on the 5th of July. Um, when I look
I
at it,
guess
I think Afghanistan and Bangladesh will. I hate to say this, but they might just still give them a run for their money. South Africa not playing that great cricket, they may have a chance. And New Zealand are strong for them, but you never know with Pakistan. So the way I look at it, I think they can at least get 3 wins out of the next 4. May even get 4. I hope they do, but they still need other results to go in their favor. So at the moment, it's looking difficult for Pakistan because on the table they are like I said, they're ninth and they've got 1 win out of 5. So even if they get 3 wins, or let's assume they get 4 wins, that'll be 5 out of 9, 5 out of 9 with a net run rate in the negative. Or let's assume they win handsomely to get the net run rate back. I think it's still going to be tough road ahead for Pakistan. Yeah.
Really tough. I think they have reached a point of no return. There's a hope, but let's be realistic. And they need to fix their problems.
Yeah.
And after all the analysis and watching all the videos, there were 3 key areas where they missed the mark, which was batting, fielding, and bowling. They were all over the place. They were really bad. And one of the fan, I'm sure everyone must have seen that video, the Pakistani fan, he must have given the key way how to beat India. It's not to eat burger and pizza one night.
Oh, that is something which is hilarious because I mean we're not endorsing him over here, but if that is true, I mean if you're eating a pizza and a burger and ice cream the night before a big game, A, that shows you're nervous. B, how far behind are you in terms of sports science and sort of just dietary knowledge that, I mean, you look at, I mean, I was watching this video which is on this Pakistani channel, and they were actually praising the Indian fitness. I mean, it comes as a huge thing because we've grown up in an era where India's fielders were ridiculed. There was a time Indian fielding was a joke in international cricket. Now it's come a time. I mean, I'm not saying this Indian fielding is wow, but look at the fitness. They were talking about Virat Kohli. He's got 8 packs. He's ripped. You talk about Hardik Pandya. He's fit as a butcher's dog, as they say. This Indian team, they've got the yo-yo test. Obviously, the captain is leading the way with the yo-yo test. They've increased the points. I think it's 17.1. Earlier it was much lower, but he wants much fitter players along with the skill. That's a huge. So I think the players that come through in Indian cricket are already of the status of an international cricket. They almost feel like they can handle the international cricket pressure. Whereas Pakistan, I mean, if they're saying that they're eating junk food before a game and that kind of stuff, that just shows that they're so far behind. And why is it? I mean, we'll probably discuss this some other day. Why we feel Pakistan have been left behind in the race, because this is a country, like I said in earlier message, this is a country that has produced greats of the game. You talk about Wasim Akram, Waqar Younis, Shoaib Akhtar, Saqlain Mushtaq, Imran Khan. These are just the bowlers. And the batting side, I mean, with Inzamam Ullah, Saeed Anwar, Yunus Khan, Mohammad Yusuf, you name it. I mean, Pakistan has this is just the contemporary generation we're talking. They've got a huge history of great players. So it's sad to see that they have fallen behind the race. But I think I agree with you, as you said. I think the road ahead is really difficult for Pakistan. For India, though, I think if you just have a look, India is number 4 on the table at the moment, just because they played 1 game less. They're already out on 7 points with a net run rate of +1. They're in a very happy state of mind. They play Afghanistan on Saturday, so please do watch out for our preview video. It'll be on Friday between India and Afghanistan. India and Afghanistan, well, I'm sure it's not going to be a juicy encounter. I think India way too strong. They play West Indies at Manchester again. That could be a tricky game because West Indies, you never know with West Indies. They're a bit like Pakistan, probably a bit more dangerous than Pakistan. England, I think that's the big game on the 30th of June at Birmingham, Edgbaston. So India versus England. I think in many ways that game will decide that which team has one hand on the cup. pretty much that game is. I feel that will probably be the game of the tournament. It's almost like you feel unstoppable force versus non-moving object. That's the clash you want to see between India and England. England are suffering with a lot of injury issues. Then, oh, talking about injury, Shikhar Dhawan has been ruled out. This news came just a few hours ago. What do you make of this? I think huge setback to India. Or what do you?
Huge setback. But the way India are going about, for them, it's not a big deal. KL Rahul, he played so maturely.
Yep.
It's like he just answered all his critics.
Mm-hmm.
He was clinical, textbook batting. And of course, India losing Mr. ICC Shikhar Dhawan is a big blow. But the guy who's coming in is Rishabh Pant.
Absolutely.
He is a bit immature, but when he gets going, he is rightly called Adam Gilchrist. The way he plays. Come on, even Ricky Ponting said the same thing.
Adam
He has
Gilchrist in the making. Yep.
he is destructive. So when you have Hardik Pandya and Rishabh Pant finishing your game,
along
yes,
with Dhoni, yeah, could well be
yeah,
Dhoni as well. I think, yeah, as you rightly said, Rishabh Pant he's a raw talent, but he's just the kind of thing. He just gives that extra spark to this Indian side. It's almost like India is way too strong. But Rishabh Pant, it'll be hard on Vijay Shankar, I think, because in English conditions he provides you with that extra seamers option. But yes, I feel with Rishabh Pant, I think yes, obviously hard for Shikhar Dhawan to miss out. I'm sure because he and Rohit Sharma, the top of the order, do a great service to India. But I think India is still way too strong, even despite the injuries. I think India and England are two teams. Despite injuries, they still look very, very. They just have the backup. I think it's just the bench strength which is
but
there.
I would say India has a
Better
upper
than.
hand.
Yep.
India has an all-round team. We have bowler,
Yeah,
batsman.
we'll discuss that. That'll be the big preview, I think, for India and England. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you so much for all our viewers once again, for joining us and for listening to us. Please do comment if you find something that we said inappropriate, and apologies if we said something which anybody else thought was inappropriate. We do not mean here at Cricket Beyond Boundaries. We do not mean to hurt anybody or pass biased comments or judgments. All we're trying to do is just have a chat about the game we all love, and we would request anybody who feels that they can come on our platform and join us. Please do comment, and please, we would love to have more and more voices on our show and talk about this beautiful game, especially when it's the World Cup here and the World Cup's midway through the World Cup. Thank you so much, Saga, for joining from.
It was a pleasure. I know it's a very big discussion, but being so passionate about cricket, believe me, this is us trying to be more brief.
Absolutely, we're trying to make it as short as we can, and that's a constant feedback that we're trying to work on. But all our videos are unscripted. We just switch on the camera and we just talk about the game. So we will try to make our videos a bit more savvy from next on, a bit more short as well. So please do watch out for next videos. Until then, thank you. Goodbye, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for all your love and support. And we will try to keep making these videos, especially for all our India games. We'll try to do some other teams as well, but definitely for all the India games, we'll be making a preview and review. Let's hope the better team wins the World Cup on the 14th of July. Until we get there, we will definitely be there with you till we get there. So thank you so much for all of us joining. Thank you, Sagar. And that ends this segment. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.